I was stopping by Fortuna to pick up supplies that Ordis insisted that I pick up. I took my time to look around and catch up with some of the locals while I was there. Rude Zood was, well, rude as usual. I didn't spend long at her booth. I think she was happy to see me, but Chatter wasn't that enthusiastic. As I headed over to the other side of the marketplace, I caught a glimpse of a Moa following me. I almost pulled out my gun and shot it, but I caught myself. I didn't want to cause a riot. I was surprised at it, but it didn't seem fazed at me. It walked right up to me and looked at me. I went through some of the crowds surrounding the kiosks, hoping to lose it. It kept a hold of me, though. It kept insisting to follow me. I went around pillars, weaved through people, but nothing could shake it. I finally ran over to Legs, hoping he of all people would be able to help me. He greeted me in his usual manner. "Hey, looking for a pet? Getting your hands on some high-end tech? Maybe? Oh, what is this?" I motioned to the Moa. "I've never seen that model before. Well, I don't think I can help you, sorry. Maybe you can keep it, though." I ended up taking it back to my ship. My Kavat didn't seem too impressed. She just took one sniff at him and turned away. Before I could do much, we got some chatter from an agent who needed help defending a cryopod he had found. 3 other 1009 answered. I would have to deal with the Moa later. We found ourselves knee-deep in Grineer. We had it pretty much well handled. There were some difficulties, though. During a lull, I noticed the Moa running across the map. How in the world did he get here? He was firing his little laser, doing what he could. There was a choke point and I got into some trouble. Suddenly, I heard a beeping behind me and he showed up, throwing a grav mine. The enemies held suspended in the air and I was able to save myself. The little guy was actually pretty useful. He and I worked together for the rest of the mission. He had my back pretty well. I was surprised to say the least. He held his own. He was shot. I ran over to him in concern. I managed to revive him without much difficulty, but he was showing some problems. We managed to extract safely, though. I carried the Moa back onto my ship and ran back to Fortuna. Legs was there, throwing out his quips to practicing locals. I skidded to a stop in front of him and motioned to the Moa. He looked at it and assured me he could fix it. It took him a while, but finally he got the little guy working again. He looked at me and said, "Well, why don't you name it?" I looked at the Moa and he looked at me. I'll name him Wiggle." Legs nodded his approval and inscribed it on the Moa's chassis. Wiggle bleeped and jumped to stand by my side. I paid Legs and headed back to the landing pad. Little did I know that this was just the beginning of the grand adventures that Wiggle and I would go through together. We had no idea what we would be going through. This is just the beginning of the adventures of Omoa and his Tenno.